Garfield, your days of crime are over.
We ain't got time to hear that. This a bus.
My name is Lisa Welchel. You might recognize me from my time on television. Now I'm traveling the country, meeting people with the most amazing collections we can find.
I had no idea I was going to grow into this.
I bring in experts to appraise these treasures and hope to make a deal with our collector to trade one of their precious gems for an elusive item that's been on their wish list.
I know it's a piece that Kathy doesn't have.
Will there be a trade? It's the collector's call. Today's collector, Kathy Cozy, celebrates the lazy, lasagna-loving cat Garfield. Her expansive collection has earned her a place in the Guinness Book of World Records.
My passion for Garfield started pretty much right at when Garfield first started in like 1978. I would read the Sunday comics, and I just thought he had a great sense of humor.
She's joined by her supportive husband, Robert, who embraces life as a Garfield collector.
One day at a Garfield Collectors Convention, as I'm wearing Garfield lounge pants, a Garfield shirt, Garfield fuzzy slippers for a Garfield pajama party, it suddenly occurred to me that I might be one of them now.
To document their collecting adventures, Kathy and Robert co-authored a book paying tribute to the troublesome cat.
The title of the book is Loves Garfield, and I have a website, lovesgarfield.com, and it's really about our love of Garfield and how it's brought us to meet people, travel the country, go to the different conventions.
Lending her expertise is Nancy Vega, the president of the Garfield Gathering, a convention for Garfield collectors.
I like Garfield because he kind of has that little badness with him. He's got always something up his sleeve.
Nancy's brought a Garfield-themed item that can't be found in Kathy's huge collection. She'll offer it in trade for one of Kathy's cats. But will it be worthy of a spot in this award-winning collection? It's the collector's call. Kathy, Robert, wall to floor to ceiling, rooms everywhere, Garfield. And you live here. Where's your place in this house? Because I think this cat has taken over.
He has definitely taken over. Our place is pretty much right here in this room. This is where we spend 24/7 just about.
So how many individual pieces do you have?
Total, I have over 14,000. But I am the Guinness World Record holder, and the Guinness World Record has it at 6,190 because they don't allow duplicates.
6,000, that's amazing. Okay, so who's the real collector? Who's the original collector? Or have you always shared this passion?
No, this has been me.
Okay.
And he married into it and has embraced it.
I'm just a world-class enabler. World-class. She has the record, so it justifies it.
So when did you start collecting?
So I was about 15 years old, and my brother actually had the very first Garfield. So he was getting rid of some of his stuff, and I looked at some of them and I said, oh, those are really cute. You shouldn't be getting rid of those. I'll take that on. So it just snowballed from there.
So it sounds like the love of the merchandise came before even the love of the cartoon.
I like the comic strips, and I would read the comic strip constantly, but I like the stuff, the merchandise. Mostly the figurines, and anything where Garfield could really show his emotion.
There's two worlds. There's Garfield fans and there's Garfield collectors. And a fan can be a collector and a collector can be a fan, and sometimes they're both. But we literally were on the Garfield cruise with 400 other Garfield people. We got eliminated in the first round of the trivia contest, and a 12-year-old ended up winning the thing.
You just said in passing we were on the Garfield cruise. What is the Garfield cruise?
For Garfield's 25th birthday back in 2003, they had a Garfield cruise by Jim Davis and his family and his brother, Doc Davis. Were on a cruise, and there was about 400 fans. Actually, where we met Nancy for the very first time.
What makes a Garfield expert? How are you a Garfield expert?
Well, it basically started, as Kathy said, as a collector too, as a child, and then I ran into a collector that didn't live too far from me that I did not know, and he decided to get more of the Garfield collectors together. We've continued that on since 1999. I kind of inherited the position of the leader of the conventions at this point.
Nancy is the soul of the event, and she's the glue that holds it completely together.
So have you taken this into real life? Do you own a tabby cat?
I Actually, we don't. We have 2 dogs. I just look around here and I just picture cats just knocking the stuff off the shelves, and just it wouldn't work. So dogs all the way.
Well, I can't wait to get started. Do you have the original stuffed plush that you got from your brother?
I do.
You
I
do?
actually do.
Oh,
Yep,
that's
he's right back
wonderful.
here.
He's in great shape.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he's old.
He is old. He's probably one of the originals, and you can tell because of the way the eyes are. There's 2 separate round eyes, so this is definitely one of the original Garfields.
So it went from 2 eyes to like a uni eye?
Yes.
As newsprint became more and more expensive, they made the comic strip smaller and smaller. So the expressive parts, like the faces, kept shrinking, and you couldn't get the bit. So Jim Davis had to make the eyes bigger and more expressive. So essentially, you can carbon date Garfield's based on whether or not it's just 2 separate eyes or kind of one with a line in between.
Well, this is fascinating. I had no idea. I'm always going to be looking to see if it's 1 eye or 2. This was just a hand-me-down, so do you have any idea how much it would have retailed for? And how old is it?
Probably got this maybe 1981, something in that range.
Okay.
And maybe paid $10, $15 for it, something like that.
It has more sentimental value than it does real value. There are a lot of those out there. That's probably worth maybe about $30 at this point.
The value is not important, but $30 probably is a decent number to put on that because it is one of the original Garfields. Definitely would not let it go.
Wow. You are committed to your collection.
Yes, I am.
What is this?
This is actually a statue that was made for Garfield's 25th birthday back in 2003. It's made in the likeness of Fred Rogers. What Paws did for Garfield's 25th birthday was they had 25 of these made as just plain Garfields. And local charities could buy them and then paint them in any way that they wanted to. So this one was bought by the local PBS station. Fred Rogers had just passed away a couple months previous to that. So they decided it would be nice to paint it in the likeness of Fred Rogers. Growing up, I was a huge Fred Rogers fan, so this is super special to me. We did some research and found the local PBS channel had this up for sale. So we were very lucky to actually get this. They just wanted to break even.
And how much was that?
$500.
Wow, that seems like a great price
It's a
for this.
great price.
How do you display this? Do you have this in your house, backyard? Do you store it?
No,
This is...
he stays inside.
He stays inside?
He stays inside.
He's an inside cat.
Absolutely.
$500. I mean, it would be difficult to find a buyer for this because not everyone is willing to share their living room with a large, Garfield Rogers cat. But how much would something like this be valued today?
To find something like this in a private collection is really special. I think that would be worth at least $2,500.
Man, this is, I'm speechless. This is huge. Don't take a cat nap. We've got Kathy's biggest and smallest collectibles coming up.
Whatever it takes, I will make room for it.
And then, Nancy hopes to get her paws on one of Kathy's rare collectibles in today's trade.
There's something going around the Gordon home. Good thing Gertrude found Densum. Now what's going around is 12-hour cough relief. And the giggles.
Body deodorant.
There's something going around the Gordon home.
What are they doing? Get native. We're back with Kathy and Robert. Their record-setting Garfield collection has taken them on cross-country adventures and introduced them to many new friends, like Nancy, the co-founder of the Garfield Collectors Convention. Nancy brought a rare piece of Garfield merchandise to offer in trade. But first, we learned how Kathy's dedication led to a living room demo.
I would love to show you the amusement rides that I have.
Oh, amusement rides. So you are not limited in size. You just whatever.
Whatever.
You make room for it.
Absolutely. Whatever it takes, I will make room for it.
So does it still work? Can you plug it in?
Oh, absolutely. It still
Okay.
works. It plays this song. Here Comes Garfield, 100% works. And I thought it was a great price until the shipping came.
Oh, right.
I think I paid more to have it shipped than I did for the ride itself.
So how much did you pay for the ride and how much for the shipping?
I paid $750 for the ride, and I probably paid about $800 to have it shipped.
So when you found out the shipping, did that give you pause? No pun intended.
No.
No.
It hurt. I will admit it hurt, but I was still gonna go for it. It came in the most beautiful crate I have ever seen. You probably could have put a family of 4 in this crate. It was so big. And then Rob and about 3 of our neighbors took, I think, about 2 hours to get it into the house. They put a hole in our wall, which is probably still there.
They put a hole in the wall to get that in here? That is dedication.
Much to our surprise, that even with taking the door off the hinges and trying to hook the tail over this, that, the other thing, that the only logical conclusion was if we put a hole in the wall, there'd be enough room for us to be able to swing it and get it in. So it ain't never leaving, or we'll just basically never move. It's just stuck in here.
And so has it appreciated in value, or is this just something that a real die-hard collector would want?
It would have to be a real die-hard collector to have something like this because, as Kathy pointed out, it would definitely hard to get inside a house. It would have to be displayed, in a garage, most likely, for most collectors, and so it would be tough.
Would it be tough to get her money's worth out of it, including shipping?
I doubt that. I think a die-hard collector would make some garage space to put it in, definitely.
How much space would they have to make in their wallet to get it?
I'm thinking at least $2,500.
Wow, okay. It was worth the hole in the wall.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at spackling, so it's okay.
Perfect. Well, you collect in all shapes and sizes. We've gone from humongous to you can hold them in the palm of your hand. What is this?
This is actually a Garfield crystal that I didn't even know it existed. I was talking to a friend one day, and she was like, "Oh, you ever see the Garfield crystals?" I said, "No, I have no idea what you're talking about." The very next day, I went and I Googled Garfield crystal. It happened to be one for sale. That was actually part of somebody's collection that they were selling several hundred pieces for like $1,000. We checked out the whole house. We checked everything that he had. Went back with the trailer the next day and brought everything home.
So you bought the whole collection.
The whole collection.
And this was in it.
This was in it.
So it'd be hard to say how much you paid for this because how many pieces were there in the whole collection?
Oh, there was a couple hundred pieces in the whole collection.
Only one other time we've seen an OD crystal somewhere. This is the only one we've ever seen anywhere.
No kidding. Have you seen any of these before? Wow, that's surprising to me.
It's very rare. There weren't many made, and it's just something that just never comes up.
Let's just say there were 2 collectors. They had plenty of money, and they were going to go toe-to-toe. How much do you think it would ultimately sell for?
We could bring $2,000 easily.
I think Robert was freaking out because she was holding it in one hand, and her hand was a little bit shaky from her own nerves. I was scared she was going to drop it. So did you win the Garfield Award?
You would think, but actually, this is something that I came across at the 2019 convention, and it was something that I saw out of the corner of my eye, and I said, really not exactly sure what it is. It kind of reminds me of one of the fiberglass statues that they have at the Muncie Children's Museum that we had seen back in 2009. It's signed by Jim. It turns out that it's also a prototype sample.
What's it a sample of? Was this going to be a toy? What was this going to be?
I actually wasn't sure either. So I got some help. We contacted Doc Davis. I said, "Doc, where did this come from?" Well, we kind of know, but we're not sure. And he said, "Well, actually, it's a prototype that they made to use as awards for international agents of Garfield."
Oh, well, that's a pretty good guess that I had. Because it looks like an award, but it's just a prototype. Did it ultimately look like this when they made the awards?
Yes.
So you won an award, but you won the OG award. And what was the value that you got it for?
I paid $40.
$40? Seems like a good value.
Yeah, more than a good value. I mean, with only basically 4